Welcome to Nothing Finer. I'm your host, Rick Beach, along with Austin. Austin, what's up, man?
What's up? Just still wringing the water out of my pants from Saturday, man, but it's good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it was a wet one again Saturday, second rain game this year. Wasn't as bad as the Kentucky game, but the play on the field wasn't as pretty as offense goes.
Yeah.
19-13 win for Georgia. Defense stands up yet again. This offense seems to be in a little bit of a limbo still.
Yeah.
We keep talking about it, but also, what do you think this offense that you saw from Saturday that might bode well for the future?
Just did see more creativity. The toss sweep is something that we've been talking about for a while. Getting to the edge is going to open up more things, and the flea flicker. I mean, we've been doing that since 17, and we try and hit them sporadically here and there. So I think that's something you'll see again. Before the end of this year, I think they'll try and pull that out again. But there was good things. There was things Jake hit. There was things Jake missed, so it's all right there. And the slant to Dom, that's something that needs to be more of. We need to start throwing in behind these loaded boxes and kind of trying to exploit the middle a little bit. I know Jake likes to throw outside the hashes like a professional and all that, but I mean it's good with the bad. But you can see that they're right there. They're close to putting it together.
Yeah, you can see Jake left some points on the field.
Absolutely,
There were three touchdowns. We had the Dom or D-Rob right out of bounds.
Yeah.
Then he had Harrion on a wheel route
Yeah.
that was walked into the corner. Then, of course, on the flea flicker, and maybe Pickens slowed up a little bit to look back at the play.
Yeah.
But there's obviously, it was just a hair off. So that's 3 passes by Fromm. And, under circumstances where
Right.
you'd rather be the rain or whatever, but either way, he missed it. And then there's still, there were points on the board. That takes a 19-point game.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at Georgia being up 31-3 late in the game. And that's a whole different ball game. And it seems, we keep saying it week in and week out, when is this offense going to explode? And it seems they're just, bubbling, and they haven't hit that.
Yeah.
But that being said, we got Georgia Tech this weekend, which we understand it's a big game.
Mm-hmm.
And we understand but this isn't an SEC tier opponent. Not even, this is one of the worst teams and one of the worst Power 5 conferences.
Yeah.
So Georgia has an opportunity to kind of rev up, because we've mentioned, this weekend I was talking to you about it. If Georgia's offense explodes there in LSU and goes on a 3-game run, nobody remembers what the first 11 games were. Nobody remembers, the 3 and outs against A&M and Auburn that gave it. If this offense can get on a run, that's all that'll be remembered. But on the flip side, if this defense has a collapse next weekend, nobody remembers the first 11, 12 games of being dominant.
Right. Yeah, and the defense played pretty lights out Saturday. I mean, there's still some questions in the secondary. We kind of everything that's been kind of used to attack us has been across the middle of the field. They like attacking us across the middle of the field with big body tight ends and kind of mismatching us and causing us to have conflict of assignments, or have a guy like where you have to shift over and now all of a sudden Walter Grant's covering a tight end, and that's things that the defense has got to check out of and figure out how to combat that, because that's where they're really killing us with the across the middle. Kellen Mond had some great throws across the middle and run after the catch.
And we've seen that since Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been an issue, and it's been an issue in the past.
Yeah.
I remember South Carolina used to light us up with that guy they used to have. But Georgia's got to find a way to keep that offense on the field. They got to keep the defense off the field, because you could tell they're gassed.
Yeah, to me, this is
conference game after conference game after conference game.
Yeah.
We got to stay on the field.
Yeah, to me, it's all about the offense. I mean, the defense is lights out, but when you leave them out there and leave them out there and leave them out there, at some point, some points are going to happen. And to think that you're going to hold a Jimbo Fisher coach team to not having a touchdown is crazy anyways, Yeah. But, the offense has just got to convert. I mean, they got to get better on first down, which they try to do that a little bit. Yeah. They're getting a little bit more creative. It's no longer just dive up the middle, dive up, So we're mixing it up. And, it's just execution, man. We got to execute. Jake's got to stop worrying about this receiver's a freshman and he might not catch it. And this, you just got to sling it. You got to have blind trust at this point. You just got to sling it and let somebody go make a play. And offensive line, compared to the rest of the year, didn't have a great game in pass protection. So that's something to look at moving forward. But, that's because it's just this, after you go a whole year and you only give up 2 sacks and then you give up 2 or 3 in this game, it's kind of something that you got to think about moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, we've played, 8 SEC games in a row.
Yeah.
We get, you get the Georgia Tech game, which, no, it's not Samford, it's not Western Carolina, but it's, it's not another Notre Dame, it's not playing Clemson. So we get a little bit of I'm hoping it could be a little bit of a break as far as letting these offensive linemen get a little bit of rest and letting our defense really get some rest. And we know it's going to be a tough physical game in 2 weeks, but Georgia Tech, I'm not going to sit here and say don't sleep on them. That's obvious.
Right.
But the Georgia Tech game is really only big when you lose.
Yeah.
When you win the game, there's nothing to gain from beating Georgia Tech. But you lose Georgia Tech, as Kirby did that first year, it sets a whole year of just real negativity. Because Georgia Tech and this Georgia Tech team, they can't beat you with tricks.
No.
There's not going to be any tricks this weekend, no options, none of this, beating you with the little crap that you don't see. It's just going to be line up, and we should just dominate them. And hopefully, we've been waiting on this since the Tennessee game. We ain't hit 30 points since the 1st of October. Hopefully, I'd like to think this team could hit 30 against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think they could hit 30, and I think it's just all about them just wanting it, man. I mean, this offense is so close, and it's just crazy how just balls are just we're getting the bad bounce right now. You know what I mean? And I mean it's just and I think things could eventually change, but I mean it's about Coley's got to make a commitment to do what he knows works. I mean. And if that means DeAndre Swift and Jake Fromm got to go in his office and tell Coley, look, this is what worked for us the whole time we've been here. We need to, but something like that's got to happen. And, Coley didn't call a horrible game Saturday. I mean, he really did mix it up, and I liked when we were staying aggressive and mixing it up like that.
Throwing on first down stuff we hadn't seen too much in the past.
Yeah, and, so those are all bright spots. But, it's just right now it's all about just winning, everybody winning their job, their man on man, their assignment. And, you got to get everybody on the same page.
I think this funk we've been in since the South Carolina game, really early in the year, we had momentum. We had confidence on offense.
Yeah.
And, that came for playing, after Vanderbilt, we had the Arkansas States, the Murray States, even the Tennessee. We kind of had a little bit of confidence. And hopefully what Georgia Tech can give us is that confidence going into Atlanta the next week against LSU is if we can get any kind of momentum going on offense, any kind of confidence from Fromm and the receivers.
Yeah.
Because the running game's there. DeAndre Swift's been carrying this offense pretty much most of the season, especially during this little run we've been on with this hiccup in the passing game. Swift has really carried the load. He's put the team on his back, at least the offense.
Yeah, when we needed first downs, he got it. When we needed first downs in the fourth quarter the other day, he got them.
Yeah, catching out of the backfield, the hard yard, getting hit behind the line, making the spins, the jukes to get 4 or 5.
And when Jake needed to make a throw to Dom to convert for a first down, he did it. So at least that's something to look at from compared to last week versus Auburn to now, where last week versus Auburn we couldn't get a first down to save our life to put the game away, and this week we did. We ended the game on offense, which is something I wanted to see.
We struggled on third down. That wasn't we struggled against Auburn on third down. Yeah. But when it mattered against A&M, we got the ball back with 4:35. Yeah. We converted 2 third downs. Yeah. One was third. And the third and short was really set up with a pass to Dom on, I think it's 2nd and 9, second and 3. It was a long second down, and we get it down to 3rd and 1, and Swift punches it in. Then Swift gets the next third down. That's what you got to have. But, against Tech, we got to work on those type of situations, staying on the field, because that will matter the next week. And as far as Tech, their offense is horrible. There's nothing about this game that should strike fear in a Georgia fan unless it's that, because I can't even compare them to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Watching Georgia Tech, they've got 2 wins this year. They've been smoked by.
They're not even close, man.
Yeah, Temple smoked them out. Virginia Tech smoked them out. Yeah. And to think that Georgia could go in here, we ain't seen a Georgia A game in a long time.
Yeah.
Now, defensively we have, but we haven't seen both sides playing together at that A game. And if it happens this weekend, that has to build momentum for what Georgia fans are hoping is this postseason. That's something magical that we've been waiting on. And we got a little bit of a tease a couple of years ago in 2017. But we've all heard since Kirby got hired, 2019, his recruits are juniors. They're ready to go. So hopefully that momentum can get going. And you think there's any chance of this Tech game that Tech could give us any kind of fight?
Nah, to me, this game means nothing. It's like a placeholder, like an appetizer, when you're at Thanksgiving dinner and you're walking by stealing turkey off the plate, but you're waiting on the main course to come through, because Georgia's not going to learn anything about itself from this game. Regardless, it don't matter if we score 70 points, 50 points. There's nothing to be learned from this game.
The only good thing is we don't have to play that triple option, so you don't have to worry about cut blocks, and you don't have to worry about a defensive lineman getting his knees taken out. And, the thing about the option, and we saw it every 4 or 5 years, they beat us with it.
Yeah.
Just every now and then they'd find it, and even as good a defense as you got. We've seen Georgia Southern in the past go to Alabama and run 300 yards with the triple option.
Go down to Florida and beat them.
Yeah, with no passing completions. Georgia don't have to worry about that with Tech now. We can pin our ears back. we could try to get that confidence.
Yeah, we don't have to waste time out of our every week of the year to prepare for something that we're only going to see one time.
Yeah, so I expect this defense to really have a big first half.
Yeah.
Try to get some sacks. Really get that momentum as a team. I keep using that word because it's so important to have it going into Atlanta. Is if we want to beat LSU and go further, you got to have some confidence. You can't win a game if the quarterback don't have confidence. I mean, it's not just the fan base having confidence. That team needs to walk out there with that edge. And right now, that offense don't have it. We're hoping once we get across the 50, maybe we'll get a field goal. And then when we get inside the 20 as a fan, you're like, okay, we're going to get a field goal. That needs to change, and it could easily start this weekend with Tech. And I want to put 50 on them. Yeah. I want to get that where this offense can go into the next week knowing they can do it. And really, it hinges on Fromm.
Yeah.
Fromm's the one that's been not horrible. He's only had one game with an interception, and he had the 3 against. So he's taking care of the ball. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Let's execute, because we've said it for how long have we said if this offense executes, it's going to blow up.
Yeah, and it is. It will. It's just got to, they got to put it together, and they got to be able to make a play, early in the game when you got a chance. It seems like the last few weeks we've had chances in the first half to just put a game away.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do it.
So. Yeah, well, we had it was 19-6. Yeah. And I felt like it was 45-6. I mean, it had that feel.
Yeah, we had all the momentum. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't move the ball. -1 rushing yards.
Yeah. But you look up at the scoreboard, and you're up by 6, and they got the ball with 5 minutes to go. You're like, what happened?
Yeah.
And, like Auburn. Auburn was just a blowout. Mm-hmm. It was 21-0, but it felt like, 52-0. The next thing you know, you're sitting there on the edge of your seat.
Sputtered out for
Here comes Auburn with the ball down by 7, and you're like, twice.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn had the ball twice. So these dog fights, though, let's get on this. Another dog fight with A&M, a dog fight with Auburn, dog fight with Florida, dog fight with, even though we lost South Carolina.
Yeah,
that's something we'll peek ahead next week. We'll talk about it more. LSU hadn't seen. LSU hadn't
been in one.
Yeah, and that was more a shootout's a little different because then it's just you score, we score. When you're in a defensive battle like that, when you're out there grinding for every yard you can get on offense, that makes your character of the team. And we talked about that article, the podcast with Kurt Herbstreit, where he talked about the 2002 Ohio State team, all the close games they had all year, and it was closer to Northwestern, closer to Purdue, closer to Minnesota, and it don't look like much. But when they needed it and they got in a battle with Miami blew everybody out that year. Miami didn't know how to react to a dogfight once they got punched in the mouth and had to grind it out and had to grind for. Even the close game LSU had with Auburn, they had 500 yards against Auburn. Yeah. They just couldn't punch it in the red zone and make that game wider than what it should have been. So for Georgia moving ahead, hopefully this weekend, get a little bit of a break from that grind, get a little bit of a break from that dogfight mentality we've been in every week, and get ready for it. And we know it's going to be 1 or 2 weeks. We want it to be 1 or 2 weeks.
We want to put them away so we can get younger guys in there, and these guys can be ready to go. I mean, they need their legs. This week. You can visibly notice how different this offense is without Lawrence Cager on the field.
Oh, man.
And that's been something, if we would have said that in the summer, people would have been on YouTube telling us we're idiots and we don't know what we're talking about. And, but that's what it's ended up being. I mean, this guy's been so impactful, and, hopefully he'll at least take a couple reps this week and then get out and get ready for next week. So
yeah, I mean, all you got to do is look at the Florida game. Look at Georgia on 3rd down in the Florida game and watch us against Auburn and A&M on 3rd down. It's a totally different team.
Yeah.
The defense prepares different, and Fromm looks different. He looks night and day. When Cager, it was 3rd and 12, and he'd throw an 8-yard pass to Cager, he'd get the first down because he knew how to run his routes, how to position himself, how to position his body to get these first downs. And it just, you don't see that with nobody else. And Pickens has all the talent in the world, and you can see how he is going. And even with Dom, you can see where Dominic Blaylock's going to be a star. But with Pickens, man, the potential is there. And Fromm's just got to get it to him. Because he was open multiple times where the ball wasn't even thrown that way. But the way he run blocks, the way he dominates at the line, very physical. He's only going to get better. You've mentioned it before. And maybe he's going to have his Justin Ross moment. Maybe he's going to have that, when the lights are on the brightest, he could break out. But having Cager only intensifies how, magnifies him as far as getting that one-on-one, getting what he needs to make a play and become that superstar that we knew he was out of Hoover.
Yeah, and, for all the flack I've given some of these wide receivers, they definitely did step up Saturday. Tyler Simmons, huge back shoulder catch. Kearis Jackson, huge back shoulder catch to both opposite sides of the field. That was a big deal for them. I think that'll be good moving forward for them to actually get their hands on the ball. Because, I mean, we're going to need, guys like
confidence.
that.
Confidence goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but we've all been kind of harsh on Simmons this season as far as...
I've been one of the loudest ones.
You was one of the loudest people in the preseason about how big a year he was going to have. Yeah. And he struggled at wide receiver. But when that was third down, I believe, this week when he made that catch, he extended the drive that turned into a touchdown.
Huge catch.
And that's what we're saying. I think we're 5 of 15. You said if we just got 2 more first downs, there's no telling how that could have led to a drive with a touchdown. Yeah. But that was a big catch by Jackson, who's had some drops. It had a drop earlier in that game. Yeah. Them two set up the touchdown to Pickens, which was a beautiful route.
Beautiful, yeah.
And beautiful throw by Fromm. So Fromm has it there. Ain't like he's a horrible talent.
No.
The talent's right there for him. They just got to make it. But getting outside of the Georgia Tech game this weekend is rivalry week. Huge games.
Huge
games for playoffs. There's huge rivalry games.
Yeah.
We'll start with this Iron Bowl. You got Auburn, Alabama. Obviously, we know the deal with the quarterback situation at Alabama.
Yeah.
We know Auburn's defense is really stout. More importantly, we know that crowd at Jordan-Hare
something else
is pretty amazing. Even though it's 88,000, 85,000, it's loud.
They make it sound like 100,000.
Oh, shoot, yeah. Especially this weekend's going to be rocking. So, going in, what do you think you're going to see this weekend in the Iron Bowl?
It's so hard to say because we haven't seen Mac Jones under this kind of pressure yet. But, I know that Kevin Steele's defense is going to come to play. I know Derek Brown, Marlon Davidson, Big Cat Bryant, they're going to come to play.
Yeah.
And, and to me, this is all about Bo Nix again. Bo Nix at home. Yeah. Can he do what he needs to do to get the win? Because I feel like they can. I think this Auburn defense can really hold these guys. We know Jerry Jeudy's still gimping around a little bit with the rib thing, and they don't want to say much about it. But you bruise your ribs, broke ribs.
Yeah.
That's not something you. Yeah.
I mean, look at Cager.
It's something you deal with every week. So, I think Auburn's got a real shot at this, and I think Mac Jones hasn't been in an environment like this, like where all the line. I mean, obviously he's been with the team, and, but he hasn't been in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So this is going to be something totally different for him.
I think Bo Nix, he wasn't horrible against Georgia. Think about Bo Nix. He missed the 4th and 2 throw.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not as easy a throw. Fromm missed a similar throw this weekend that would have been a touchdown.
That's not a very easy throw.
You're trying to hit, and it's the guy coming out of the back. It's just, it's not saying it's the hardest throw in the world to make, and we're not saying Bo Nix should have made that throw.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as people. Where you got a safety coming at you. J.R. Reed was jumping up in front of him, so it's not as easy as people think. But Bo Nix had a good game against Georgia. Yeah. He didn't play great, but he played
about as well as you could ask him
for a true freshman.
Besides the fumble, yeah.
You're a true freshman playing the best defense in the country. Now go get them.
Yeah.
And you're in a hole early on. So if they could stay out of the 21-0 hole with Alabama, I think they'll have a shot at it.
Yeah, that's what I think. They can't let Alabama try and jump them early. I think
that's what Bama's going to try to do.
Yeah, they're going to try and jump on them and just.
Then I think Najee Harris is going to be the key for Alabama. Yeah. They're going to try to run the ball on Auburn.
Yeah.
Because we know how good that front is, and if they could get any kind of safeties to creep up, then they'll just start trying to go deep. And I hadn't watched Mac Jones play.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't been able to.
I watched like 2 possessions of when he played Arkansas a couple weeks ago or whenever it was. And,
I know these wide receivers look really good when Tua was out there.
It didn't look much different, open, but it was Arkansas, so you can't tell.
It's hard to tell. And then this weekend we was up in Athens, and with the rain, the tailgate situation, wasn't no TVs to go watch the game at where we were at. So I didn't get to see him play. You didn't get to see him this weekend. It's just hard to say. But I like to think Auburn's going to beat somebody this year.
Yeah, I think so,
too. I'll say it here in a little bit when we talk about another game. Auburn played, LSU, Georgia, now Alabama. Auburn's got to beat one of them.
Yeah.
And, every year it seems like Gus loses to all 3 or he beats 2 of the 3. But right now he's got to have this game. But I think win or lose, he may or may not be in trouble. I think the buyout's going to end up being too much for them to get rid of Gus. But I think he may leave on his own if things don't go well this weekend.
Well, I'd say win or lose, his days are numbered like either way. As far as him leaving on his own, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say because apparently there's some clause.
He's never going to make
that if he leaves before December 31st that he would owe Auburn $9.9 million or something like that.
Yeah, but he knows. If he goes somewhere, he'll already have another job lined up. So they'll pick up whatever he has to pay Auburn.
Yeah, they'll pick up whatever.
So that won't keep him from doing it. I just think no matter what he ever does, unless he goes 12-0, Auburn fans
it won't be enough.
He's going to be on the hot seat. Yeah. He's going to be on the hot seat for the rest of his career at Auburn. He's never going to do enough.
Yeah.
If he goes 11-1, loses to Alabama, they want him gone. He goes 11-1, loses to Georgia, or he goes 12-0, loses to Georgia in the SEC championship. They want to fire Gus. Fire Gus.
Well, you can blame Saban for that. I mean, Saban has made Auburn so just delirious in their quest for trying to knock Bama off, and it's hard to do. Bama's a whole different animal, and it changed the whole conference, the way people view coaching and hot seat talk. Nick Saban changed all of that because he comes in and just wipes everybody off the map, and you're saying, we're putting this much money in it too. Why can't we get to that level?
So. Yeah, but the problem with Auburn, and this is why it's not that. Well, I wouldn't want as a head coach. You have to beat 3 teams to keep your job.
Yeah.
It's 3 of the top 5 teams in the country that Auburn's supposed to beat. At least with the regularity. We all know what's going on. They hadn't won in Baton Rouge since 1990. Yeah. They ain't won in Athens since 2005, I believe. Yeah. So it's not like it's just this one thing. They got bigger problems, but they're trying to catch Alabama almost to an obsessive point of catching Alabama. And they've been passed by LSU and Georgia.
Yeah.
And no matter what they want to say, and they can 1980 us to death because that's what every fan base wants to do. We own Auburn right now.
Yeah.
Gus didn't do anything to change that.
Nothing.
Tuberville had a little bit of success early on in the Mark Richt, but Mark Richt turned that rivalry, and Kirby's only kept it going even more. And we had the one hiccup in 2017 that lasted 3 weeks, and we got revenge on that one. But Gus, I just don't see him ever turning the corner at Auburn because what he's recruiting against, he's not a top-tier recruiter. He's a top 10, top 15 recruiter. That's not good enough to beat LSU, Alabama, and Georgia.
Yeah.
Because LSU, Alabama, and Georgia's top 3, top 5 in the country in recruiting. And Auburn has to figure something out. And Gus has to know he's a good coach. He's not an elite coach. But his talents would be better off somewhere else where he don't have the pressure of winning 12 games a year, beating 3 of the top 5 teams in the country year in, year out.
Yeah, and it's all coming down to his offense because this Kevin Steele defense is balls out of control every year. And this offense,
they don't have this next year. This offense could score 40 next year, but this defense might give up 45.
Well, everybody's got film on this offense, and Gus don't change it. It's the same 4 things over, and it's a literal high school offense. That's what it is.
Yeah, people say that when your offense struggles. When Georgia struggled, Georgia fans believe, this high. No, it's not a high school.
No, but Gus really is.
That is legit an Arkansas high school offense that he ran. It was basketball on turf. Yeah. It was all this. And when it was new, it was unreal how good it was. But when people got film, you got to adjust.
Yeah.
And, 17, they didn't do nothing fancy in 17 to beat Georgia. They ran Kerryon Johnson literally into the ground 2 weeks in a row. And maybe I think he needs to leave on his own. I don't think they're going to fire him. I think it'd be kind of just, crazy for Auburn to spend that kind of money.
I think he should seek somewhere else before the bad press kind of weighs down.
Yeah, I think Arkansas would be literally the best move he could make. Go home. Arkansas would want 7 to 8 wins next year. They're there.
Yeah.
The wins are there for an SEC team if you get the right coach in there. Not saying they're going to be able to beat Auburn and Alabama and LSU, but you can beat an Ole Miss. You can beat a Mississippi State if they get a Gus Malzahn with that type of offense.
Yeah.
Because that offense works when you don't have the talent.
Right.
Around when you can use
speed.
When you can get one really fast guy.
Yeah.
And use him. But in other games this weekend, LSU A&M.
Yeah.
I thought this year going into the season, A&M's going to beat somebody. They had Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia.
Yeah.
I didn't know LSU was going to be number 1 team in the country. Right. Now they get LSU. I thought they'd beat one of them 3. Maybe they're going to beat one of the 4, and it being LSU. LSU's getting a lot of press. LSU's getting a lot of hype for the SEC championship. Everybody's saying all they got to do is they're automatically in. Whether they win or lose to Georgia, they're in. They're going to overlook A&M. Yeah. It looks like they're overlooking A&M. What do you think the odds are that we see an upset in Baton Rouge Saturday night?
Well, I don't want to just outright say it'll happen, but this game did go to 7 overtimes last year. If everybody remembers that, 74-72, A&M pulled one out, and this Jimbo Fisher team, man, is getting better. Man, they're getting better every week, and I think Jimbo's kind of flipped the script from Sumlin at A&M, where he started out hot and then fizzle out late, but it seems like Jimbo's really trying to pick it up later in the year, and he's a little bit better in November. So I definitely think you could see something happen. And Kellen Mond's a good quarterback. That's the best quarterback we've played all year by far. I mean, this offense isn't a joke. This offense can score points, and the defense is pretty stout too. They got some pretty good edge rushers, and they was able to get home against Isaiah Wilson and Andrew Thomas last week. So I expect to see a good game. I don't think LSU's going to run away with it at all.
No, I think it's definitely worth watching. I think if you're a Georgia fan or just a fan of the SEC, it's going to be worth watching. Yeah. And really and truly, for Georgia, I hope it goes 7 overtimes this year and just wear LSU to the ground. Yeah. But imagine what it could do to the college football landscape if this upset happens, because now all of a sudden the winner of the SEC championship is in, the loser's out, and Alabama would slide it if they could.
Well, I don't think, if Baylor beats Oklahoma, I don't think Bama's sliding in, because Baylor would avenge the only loss they had. So
right.
it's basically like being undefeated. So you're going to keep that team out and give Alabama the nod? I mean, I guess the committee could do something
There's
like that,
so many games that could go one way or the other.
Yeah.
South Carolina Clemson is in Williams-Brice. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff. There's no telling. You don't know. And Georgia,
Ohio State, Michigan.
Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan could come in there and beat Ohio State. And
Michigan's been rolling these past
Minnesota could go out there and beat Wisconsin. Yeah. There's so many things that's going on this weekend and huge games. That, there's big games for the rivalries, of course.
Yeah.
But, man, there's so many games that matter to the football playoff.
Yeah, and it could really flip the whole thing on its head.
And it matters to Georgia.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about, I keep harping on, we wanted that number 1 seed. We could really be there if Michigan beats Ohio State. That would put us at 3, a win over number 1. Obviously,
LSU,
next week could bump us ahead of Clemson.
Yeah.
But if Clemson loses to South Carolina, that opens up,
I want to say that, but this ain't the same South Carolina team that beat us. This team's been on the downhill stroke real bad.
But they were
lately.
downhill when they beat us.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the team that beat us. Before they beat us, they lost to North Carolina with a brand new coach and a freshman quarterback. This wasn't a team that was on its rise when they beat us.
Yeah, they're very sporadic.
No, they're really up here. That one game in the first half of Florida, and the rest of the year they've been just on a downfall. Yeah. But you never know with a rivalry game. That's what is, you never know what you're going to get. There's been bad teams beat good teams in rivalries before.
Absolutely.
And it's in South Carolina. Sandstorm's going to be going. You have all these things. And we've talked about before, a dogfight. We know one thing about South Carolina. They can slug it out. They're going to get physical.
Yeah.
And their coach on the sidelines real animated. Yeah. And he wants a physical game. So, real quick before we get out of here, what's your score prediction, Georgia Tech?
I don't want to go too crazy, so I'm gonna just hang at about 35-10.
35-10?
Yeah.
I think similar score on that. I'm going to say 41, but I think the second string's going to get some of them points. Stetson Bennett's going to get in there. I'm going to say Georgia's going to win 41-7. Okay. I don't think they're going to get any more than that. They might score 7, mop up. I don't think first team all defense is going to give up a score. I think they're going to be really hungry. This rivalry matters to Kirby. Kirby's old school Georgia.
Love a shutout.
Yeah. Oh, he would love that. He's old school. Yeah. Kirby hates Florida, Auburn, Georgia Tech. Yeah. You could tell how he acts on the sidelines. You could tell his demeanor the week of those games. So I think Georgia wins 41-7. Austin got 35-10. If you're on social media, hit us up on Twitter at Nothing Finer Pod. Facebook, the same thing. Just go up there, type in Nothing Finer Pod in the search. Like the page on there. Obviously on YouTube, hit subscribe. We got a fan. We're going to send the care package out from last week. Subscribe and leave a comment saying whatever you want in the comment to say. We'll choose one of them, send you a care package. Awesome. Rivalry weekend, fun stuff coming up. Thanksgiving coming up this Thursday. Football that night. We got food. You got the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night.
Oh, yeah.
Good little tradition. Then on Friday, I believe you got Arkansas, Missouri, SEC football for days.
All weekend.
So you're going to get it. That's all we got. Happy Thanksgiving from Nothing Finer, WYBU, from everybody here. God bless. Go Dogs.